Hello my friends and welcome back. I've been teasing you for too long with my big shrimp tank. I've been asking you for a couple of months probably, do you want an update? And every time you said yes. Well, here it is, finally. The update. You will also be pleased to note that after, I think, 8 years of doing YouTube videos, I finally bought myself a tripod for my camera. So hopefully we'll have less shaky shots. Amazing, isn't it? It has been, I think, about 4 months since I set this tank up, and it is looking really nice in my opinion. Lots of the things I've added have grown, it's all looking very vibrant. In this tank I have added 2 different types of shrimp. We have yellowfire Neocaridina, and we also have some SS grade crystal shrimps which are Caridina. Now lots of people say don't mix Neos and Caridinas together. But actually, in this big tank, I feel like it's fine because it's going to be very, very stable. And where the shrimps come from, they are in fact kept on the same system. So they get on well together on that system, and they probably be okay in this system as well. Being the fact that it is 450 litres, the tank should be relatively stable. I've also added around 10 Otocinclus to this tank. Because it being a very big tank, it needs a lot of little grazers in there. I don't want anything too big. However, there is an Ancistrus in here that I've had for 10 years. I couldn't really evict her back to a shop or something, so she is in here. She is rather large, but Ancistrus don't tend to prey on shrimp, so I'm fairly confident that she'll be okay in here with the shrimps. As well as that, I have added some yellow Rabbit Snails. These are actually baby ones that come from where I work. When we get a big batch of yellow Rabbit Snails in, what they tend to do when they first land is just eject all of their babies. So what I did essentially is just harvest loads of these little baby ones, and they are around 1 millimetre when I get them, and they've been put in here and they're starting to grow. So they don't all survive, but I think there's probably around 10 in here as well, so they'll look really cool. They do take a while to grow though. So the shrimps themselves are actually having a really nice time. I did add a lot of shrimps into this tank, and unfortunately I did lose a few. And I think the main reason I lost a few is because I added them a bit sooner than I perhaps should have done. But the ones that have remained, there's probably, I think, about 15 yellow ones in here and about 10 SS grade Caridinas in here, and they're all doing well. I haven't lost any in the last month. They have buried up a few times. I've seen females of both types swimming around with eggs. However, I haven't seen any shrimplets anywhere, but a brown shrimp has appeared, which I've now removed. So that I didn't add. It must have been one that got born in the tank. So there may be some shrimplets hanging around. Also subscribe to my channel. I think I see a shrimplet. I was just about to stop the video, but I do. Okay, so this is the first sighting of shrimplets in my tank since I set the tank up. I was just about to say I haven't seen any shrimplets, but there is one. So we have breeding in this tank. I don't know what it is. It probably is a yellow one. So there we go. Success. We have established a population of shrimp in the tank. The thing about this tank is there's lots of hiding places for the shrimps to go. I don't see the shrimps that much because of just how many areas there are for the shrimps to hide. They tend to lurk in amongst the rocks, and they only come out every now and then. I catch glimpses of them. The males tend to be more active than the females. The females are hiding a lot more. Hopefully this means because they're holding eggs, they're buried up and they're just hiding to release the shrimplets. In terms of the plants, well, they're doing really well. Actually, I'm surprised. Now, on the top you can see there is a huge mass of roots, and I added a few bits of Amazon frogbit, only maybe 10 pieces. And unfortunately at the start of it I made a big mistake because I didn't turn my light off. My light's on a analog timer which basically has a little dial that you turn around and it turns on and off at the switch. And from time to time I come into my shed when the lights are off in the evening. I turn them on using the little manual switch on the side. And what I did when I went back down is I didn't actually turn it off. And it took me a week to realise. So at the beginning I actually melted a lot of the Amazon frogbit. And that kind of made me realise what I'd done wrong, so I rectified it. And since that point, the tank went viciously green. It went pea soup because of how much light it got. And it has just in the last week cleared up. And it's still a little bit murky, but it's looking really nice. The shrimps are a lot happier now, it's cleaner. The ottos are swimming around really happily. And it's actually looking really quite vibrant and green. The moss has grown really well. It's starting to bush out. It's starting to fill out the areas I've put it in. The Bucephalandra, unfortunately the super glue has worn off before it's rooted in, being that it's such a slow grower. But I've wedged it in rocks and it's holding its place there. They are actually also growing a few bits of roots and a few leaves. They are very, very slow growers, but the fact that they're growing leaves shows me that they are enjoying their environment. Now the Pagostemon is actually growing. I was expecting it just to die off, and actually I had a comment or two saying that the Pagostemon would die off quite quickly and not spread, get covered in algae and so forth, but actually it's growing. There is a little bit of yellowing, and I think that's just because where I melted everything with the light being on, but since I turned it off, it has bushed out a bit. It's a lot bigger than it was when I added it, and hopefully that'll just keep spreading out. In terms of algae, there hasn't really been any problems with algae. You can see the rocks are a little bit green, but that's fine. That gives something for the shrimps and the ottos to graze on. And that's about it. I was expecting maybe some cyno or perhaps some blackbeard algae, but that hasn't happened. Everything's remained pretty stable, other than where I made a mistake and left the light on for a week. It obviously helps having pretty much every bit of livestock in this tank being an algae grazer. Any spare bit of algae just gets munched up by the shrimps and the otto. So actually this tank's been a bit of a dream, because all I've done is set it up, add some livestock, and just left it to its own devices. I think it's going to take a while to really settle in. I need to do something about these roots because they are stopping the flow a little bit. I might have to trim them or something like that. But in terms of the shrimps, they are loving it, and the ottos are loving it because it gives them a big surface area to graze. The roots of this plant is actually full of little shrimp poos and little otto poos, so you can see where they are actually going up there and grazing continuously amongst the roots. And it'll also give somewhere for the shrimplets to hide and graze on. So thank you for watching. I hope you've enjoyed this video. If you've enjoyed this video, please remember to leave a like and subscribe to my channel. Also, if you want to see more content other than what I do on my main channel, and also support me as a creator, then head on over to Patreon. The link is in the description. You can sign up for a couple of quid a month. Really helps me to do what I do, make videos, build tanks and so forth. Also on there I'll be releasing content which I won't be releasing to my main channel, so more blog style stuff, more behind the scenes things. So head on over there if you like that kind of stuff. Once again, thanks for watching and happy fish keeping!